Wanna see me finish the long running space section in a jiffy? Then this video's meant for you. This is Coaster Master, and I'll be seeing you on the other side. Hi friends, this is Coaster Master here. Welcome to episode 27 of Building an Indoor Theme Park. And yeah, in this episode, I'm not going to be building a roller coaster because, quite frankly, the space section has enough roller coasters. It has, I think, three roller coasters that I did not plan for. Three or four, I think, that I did not plan for. Yeah, there are way too many roller coasters in this section. So yeah, and again, this is the last episode where I'm building anything in the space section because the next section, sorry, because I'm gonna start working on the pirate section next. Yeah, I mean, it isn't much of a surprise if you're in my Discord server. And if you're not in my Discord server, what are you doing? Join right now, dude. So yeah, join right now to my Discord, join my Discord server right now. It's the links in the description. And anyway, now that the self promotion's done, let's move on. Alright, so I just changed the ending of the roller coaster so that there would be more space to do theming. And yeah, I added some stuff off screen, but nothing too important. Whatever I show on screen is the most important part. And if there's anything off screen, it's not because the recorder was not working, because the recorder was working this time, thank God. And yeah, alright. I don't know what else there is to say about what I'm building right now. It's just a simple building. And yeah, alright. Now we've moved past the building of the walls and we've gone to building the platforms, where there is something I want to talk about. So, when I was building the platforms, I started doing something I started experimenting with this technique a few months back. I think the first time I did it was in the space section itself, although I might be wrong. But yeah, basically what I do is cover most of the track underneath the roof tile, the platform tile, and only a little bit of the track is shown above the roof tile. And I know it's very impractical and very unrealistic, but it looks really cool. But yeah, it's very impractical, and I bet real theme parks would never try this. Yeah, they would never try this, otherwise the ride won't work. Yeah, so I added some lasers just for some cool looking effects, nothing more. There's no point at the lasers really. But yeah, the lasers look nice, and I do not have red lasers in the park, so I thought that maybe I could add them. So yeah, that's the only purpose of them being there. And I also added a little bit of dust, to clean people. Yeah, I couldn't find a steam special effect, so I just settled with dust. And I know it doesn't look as nice, but hey, what can we do? So I I built now something that you may or may not have noticed is that every time I build a building in the space section, almost every time, I'm using the steel roofs, and whether you like it or not, it's really up to you. I for one don't like them very much because there isn't much you can do with them, but and also because they look awful. But other than that, I think that the steel roofs they do get the job done. And yeah, now I'm doing the queue line, which took a surprising amount of time, that's for sure. Yeah, I don't know why I spent so long making the queue line, but yeah, I did finish the queue line. Took me a lot longer than I thought it would, but I finished it. So yeah, and of course I added the priority pass queue, which made me realize something. The space battle roller coaster, the dueling coaster in this park, it does not have a priority pass queue line, and even the queue line itself is very small. So I guess that's something that needs changes, but other than that, not really. So yeah, this is what I really like about Planet Coaster. There's always something that I don't know existed, even after many years of playing this game. Yeah, it's been 1.5 years, I think. So I figured out that there was a function called position snap. So you can even move non-grid materials onto a grid, which honestly is super convenient. And I really don't know why I didn't know that this existed, but I'm glad I know it now. Yeah, it really makes me think that if I'd known of this function's existence, I would have finished the making of Wormhole Jump so much faster. But hey, at least the space battle roller coaster, that's done faster. A lot faster than without position than if I didn't use position snap. And yeah, I just added a little bit of theming inside the queue line. Again, nothing too over the top, nothing special, just a little bit of theming. The walls are very obviously copy pasted, but there are a couple of unique things here and there inside. And I also added a random sign in there which says the ride's name. And I am gonna call the ride Frozen Planet or something like that, but as of now I haven't come up with a proper name. And of course, if there's a name that you think will work well for the ride, please let me know in the comment section below. All com all suggestions are welcome, and more often than not I'll use your name, unless it's something inappropriate. So, yeah. Another thing I focused heavily on in this episode is the lighting. Normally, I'm not a person that does much lighting, but here, considering that a lot of this stuff is indoors, I thought the lighting would be necessary. So yeah, that's why you're seeing all this lighting. Um, I guess that's it for the coaster station. I didn't really do much more. I mean, yeah, the lights look quite nice. Anyway, that's the end of that. Now I'm building the trains, and yes, I know I have mentioned this in episode 2 of the series. I think either episode 2 or episode 3. No, episode 2. I've mentioned this in episode 2 of the series, but I just can't help but mention it again because it's important. And in case you didn't watch episode 2, first, the link's on the card above, and second, this is what I said. The reason I am a coaster enthusiast, it it's not because of a certain clip that my grandfather showed me. I mean, yeah, that is the reason I became a coaster enthusiast, but the way I really thought of coasters as something special is after I looked at trains, because I'd always been fascinated by stuff that ran on a track, be it trains, trams, or even wagons, those wagons that go on rails. And back then I wasn't really knowledgeable about roller coasters, I I thought that trains were pretty awesome. Trains, metros, monorails. So yeah, this led to me discovering the roller coasters, and honestly I can't help but express my gratitude for trains, because if it weren't for their existence, I wouldn't have become a coaster enthusiast. So yeah, that's why I'm making this stuff look very pretty. And by pretty, I mean pretty realistic. Yeah, that was bad. That was a bad pun. But yeah, it is quite realistic actually. So the way the train is designed, the way the steam engine is designed is that it it only takes a little bit of the snow away from the very front of the train so that the wheels can run on the rails. And that that doesn't mean that the snow will be taken off the wooden section of the track as well. Only the snow off the rails would be taken off. And that's why I think that not only does it look very pretty when only the rails are being shown over all the snow, but it's really realistic. And again, I always have to again, it is quite weird coming out of the person who made a Terra coaster, a 700-foot tall coaster in the park, and a lot of family coasters with inversions and ridiculous ejector airtime, but yeah, I wanted to put a little bit of realism in this park. So back inside the not really coaster station, yeah, not exactly a coaster station, but back inside next to the coaster station, I did some more theming. I added a few lights, some panels. Again, just the usual stuff, nothing too important. But I wanted to make it look nice because these were the last moments of the coaster and you had to have a good final impression, right? So I deleted a couple of panels after that and I added monitors in their places. And while they worked well in some places, over here they didn't work very well. In a particular corner, they didn't work very well. They looked really awkward. And I realized that the panels didn't give off enough light, so I added a few lights here and there. And well, they do light up the place a little more. They make it look a lot nicer. And I think that's about it for that coaster. Now, going on about talking a bit about the paths, which I'm gonna be doing quite a lot in this episode, believe that. Yeah, I'd forgotten how hard it was to do pathing, because sometimes the game just doesn't listen to you. It doesn't allow you to do tunneling, it doesn't allow you to flatten terrain, and it doesn't allow you to place the path. So what do? You go up or you select a grid. And when you're not allowed to select a grid either, and when you're not allowed to go up either, that's where stuff becomes interesting. And by interesting, I mean really difficult. So the paths, I've made them look really ugly because, quite frankly, I didn't have a choice. Because it was either have ugly paths or have no paths at all. And if there weren't any paths, my attractions will not have riders on them. So the ugly paths stayed. And again, I'm begging Planet Coaster, please make your pathing system a little better. And even the slightest improvement will help. We just need something because the pathing system is awful in Planet Coaster. It's infamous, this pathing system. So, yeah. Well, I've gotten rid of all that anger inside me regarding the Planet Coaster pathing system. Let's talk about something else. This was something I wanted to do for quite a while. I wanted to make a spaceship in Planet Coaster, a completely custom spaceship, and on my first try, the results were disastrous. I mean, just look at that spaceship, it was awful. But yeah, then I just deleted the whole spaceship and made a much larger spaceship with a much bigger hull, a much bigger back, and just in general a lot much bigger features. Again, of course, the spaceship is nowhere near perfect, but it's miles better than anything that I would have done on a first time if I hadn't known if I knew nothing about Planet Coaster. Again, the spaceship, it doesn't look all that great. It's quite big and chunky, but it is a functional spaceship with landing gear, wings, a large hull, and a couple of cockpits. One cockpit for driving, the one in the front, and the cockpit in the back, on the top, back. Yeah, that cockpit's for shooting, which I know a lot of people are going to prefer over driving, although I'm much more of a driving person. Yeah, so here I am making an entrance for the space section, and right off the bat I'm gonna tell you I had no plans for the entrance. I'm just making it because it is necessary, and it shows. The entrance isn't particularly pretty, it's quite uninspired, it's just a normal house. So I spiced things up a little bit by adding, I do not know what their names are, but there's some panels at the bottom. They're kind of like corrugated panels, but yeah, they exactly are corrugated panels. I do not know what their names are, but they do give an interesting effect when aligned properly with the ground. So I also tried adding supports, and while on paper it sounds like a nice idea, in practice it's awful. And after that, I jumped back to the spaceship to add engines, and I added three engines, two small engines on the sides and one massive engine in the middle. And of course, I added the engine fire because I don't want this to be a stagnant display. Even if that engine fire is going to mess up my frame rate, so what? Speaking of frame rates, sorry, I'm not gonna speak of frame rates yet because I've given the space section a name. It's space and exploration. Although on the sign it says space and beyond. Yeah, I'm probably gonna change that in the future because space and beyond it isn't a particularly nice name. But yeah, talking a bit about the space battle coaster. Again, on the screen it shows that it's named Spaceship, but I'm gonna name it Space Battle or something like that. Because Spaceship, it's so generic. As if Space Battle itself wasn't generic, Spaceship is even more generic than Space Battle. And again, if there's a name on your mind which you think will work better on this ride, again, as long as it's not inappropriate, I'll most likely take it. So yeah, comment down if you have any name in mind for this dueling coaster, and there's a pretty good chance that I'm gonna use it. So now this is where the position snap really made my life very easy. I didn't mention this earlier, but now you're seeing it in action. You can see how I'm using the position snap to really make my life easy. I mean, I can just copy and paste the starfield panels over and over again, and it just looks so good and it is so fast. I never thought I'd be able to do it so quickly, and originally I didn't even plan on completing it just because it was so exhausting. Advanced moving every single panel over every single tile. Yeah, it was really difficult, but here with the position snap, it made everything so easy. Not to say that it wasn't time taking, because I spent at least 5 hours on that. No, not 5 hours, at least 3 hours making that, and that's not an exaggeration. Um, all right. What was I talking about earlier? Right. I was talking about frame rates, and yeah, frame rates have been troubling me a lot nowadays, and they've driven up content. They've driven up footage taking times from 5 hours to 8 hours, and sometimes even 10 hours, like this episode. And it's just frustrating because I know I can get this stuff done a lot faster. And considering that school has started now, a lot of this stuff has to be done even faster. So, yeah, I might have to shift this to a new computer. I really don't know what my plan is to improve frame rates, but I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do something to make these frame rates better. And yeah, I am in desperate need of a new computer in any case. I'm gonna it goes into reasons that I do not want to talk about right now, but suffice to say they're very important reasons. Um, Other than that, I guess that's all I wanted to talk about the frame rates, and yeah, we're all caught up. I also added a memorial for Vortex, which, if you didn't know, has closed. Vortex from, sorry, not Vortex, Vertigo from Tivoli Gardens, and I have actually been on Vertigo, and I don't really understand why the park closed the ride. I really hope it's for a good reason because Vertigo by far is the best non-coaster experience I've ever had. I mean, it's more than perfect for a flat ride. It's a masterpiece, and it's such a shame that the Tivoli Gardens had to get rid of it. Obviously, they have a good reason, which I really don't know about. Again, I hope they have a good reason because I'll have a bone to pick with them if they don't have a good reason for closing Vertigo. So yeah, I added a memorial for Vertigo inside the park because I really have to express my love for Vertigo over here in this park because it's a very important flat ride for me, and just knowing that it's gone, it just feels sad. So yeah, I've made a memorial for the ride in my theme park, and again, if you play Planet Coaster and yeah, I'm probably gonna upload this park once the. Actually, I can upload this park right now. What do you think? Should I upload the park once it's done or should I upload the park right now and update it constantly? Since half the park is done, literally half the park is done. I don't know. And I'm also considering that maybe we can have a seventh section as well. So as of now, we've planned six sections, excluding the boulevard in the middle. But yeah, maybe I'll add a seventh section as well. Because the sections right now, again excluding the boulevard, are the brain section and the fairy tale section and the space section which we just completed. After that, we're gonna move on to the pirate section, and after that, we're gonna move on to the cars and transportation section, which, believe me, it's a lot more fun than it sounds. And I think that's it. I haven't planned anything after that. So I'm probably gonna add one or two more sections. Maybe one section is just gonna be miscellaneous coasters where I can do whatever I want. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea, doesn't it? Anyway, I guess that's it for now. Well, that's all I have for you today. This is Coaster Master signing out, and I'll see you next time on Building an Indoor Theme Park, Part 28.